Okay, hope you're all doing well and good. In this video we're creating these little synthesizers. So I've seen a lot of these renders pop up where they have these nice little renders of products, certain products, where they look like, these kind of modern synthesizers. Um, So we'll create like our own version of this. We won't build the entire keyboard, we'll just build like a small segment of it. So build some of these elements. So let's say some buttons. So we'll take one of each button. So one of these buttons, the speaker grill, knob, maybe the screen. We'll make our own little keyboard, mini keyboard out of this. So let's jump straight in. Sorry, I just stuttered there. Let's jump straight in and let's go start. Let's get started. So we're going to start with this keyboard. Alright, I'm going to not keyboard, key. We're going to start with a key with this default cube. Let's keep this going. Sorry, it's very early. Very early. Anyway, so I'm going to scale this down. Like so. And what I'm going to do is just go into edit mode, top left, edit mode. And select these four corners, and we're going to bevel these. Actually, before I do hit bevel, I'm just going to come out of edit mode. Hit tab to come in of exit edit mode, go to object mode, or you can go up top left. Anyway, I'm going to hit Control A and just apply that scale to that transformation. So that's updated. Now if I right click and say bevel edge, there we go. Now we can increase the segments. Now we don't need that many for now, so maybe 4's okay. Okay, we're going to select this top face. All we're going to do is create that, that circle at the top with that button. So what you do need is make sure you do have these add-ons that will help you along the way, which is the loop tools. So make sure you search for loop tools and install that in your add-ons, and then when you right click you'll come to circle, because we're going to turn this into a circle. But first we want to inset this face just a bit. Let's say here, that's fine, I'll keep it like this. Then I'll right click and say circle. Alright, and you can see it looks off, right? It's not right. So I'm going to scale this in enough, and then we're going to rotate this. There we go, and that looks much better, right? Try to line it up and make it keep this central. You can see here. There we go. Just try to get as best as you can to rotate it, so topology is not too bad, but we're trying to keep it looking how we want. Anyway, now what we want to do is just extrude up. Whoop. And then I'll extrude one more time, just slightly. So this just gives us that edge here to help hold that shape. I'm going to inset the face as well at the top, like so. Alright. Now what I'll do is select this edge loop, and then I just want to expand this and scale this in a tiny bit, so it kind of tapers in, and then select this edge loop and expand that out. Now we can add one more edge loop here. So if we go loop cut, add one here, and then scale this in. So then we get this nice, taper. It's very low poly. We'll apply a modifier to this. So what we can do is go modifiers, add, generate, subdivision, and now you can see we're starting to get that nice smooth shape of the button. If we increase this and just say shade smooth, you can see the top of it. We have a nice, really nice button. And you can select that top face, for example, if you want that a bit more, that indentation a little bit more, you can. Now, because we don't have a seam at the bottom, it feels very thing. But what I want to do is actually delete this bottom face. Boom, that'll help that. So now, because it's a hollow, it's really keyboards are really hollow unless they've got the little piece here that connects to the actual keyboard. But we're not going to model that, but we don't need all of that either. Because we're not going to, unless you're going to animate it, then you're going to create all the pieces that go underneath the keyboard. So this edge loop here, we want to add an additional edge loop here just to tighten this top. You can of course change the weight here as well if you wanted. If you go here, view, you can increase the mean as well. But I prefer actually just adding a slice here, then I can move this like this, how I want. There we go. And that's looking good. I'm happy with that. So we have a button. Now, before we do anything, don't apply your modifiers yet because we can still use this. And then if you're not happy with that topology, I'll show you how to fix that after. But what I'll do is actually duplicate this. So copy, paste, and we're gonna make from this one. We'll take this one, sorry, and we'll create this extruded, this long button. This it's the size of 2 buttons. So we're just gonna go into edit mode. I'm gonna select vertices. Boop. And we just want to select half of it, right? So we want to select half, like so. And then we're going to do is drag this down. So we know that's got, we want to go 2 down. So 1, 2, 2 blocks, 1 block, 2 block, and bring this all the way down. Okay. Now, if we come out and look at our model, let's come out of X-ray mode. There you go. Now we've got this. So we've got 2 buttons already built. So we built one and then we built the other. Straight forward, really quick. Now topology, a lot of people might not like this topology. I'm going to set this to actually 1. Actually, let's set 2. Let's leave it at 2. Anyway, if I applied this subdivision now, and we take a look at this topology, so there's a lot going on here, and maybe people don't want topology like this with the pinching in the middle, and so what you can do, let's go into this view here. Let's select these top faces and we're going to delete them. Alright, just to make our life easier. We'll clean this up so we can make that one face if you wanted, or you can divide it anyway. So I'm going to just use this circle selection, just select this center. Now I'm going to hit Control Plus to grow this selection, and I'm happy with it to this point here, so I'm going to delete these faces. Boop. Delete faces. Alright, now we've got a hole in there which we don't want, and we don't want this kind of jagged, we want it nice and round. So you can select this edge loop, this inside, right click, loop tools, circle. You can see that that's fixed our problem. Now you can go in here, and now if you want, you could either extrude inwards until you get, so you press E and then S, and you can have a nice quad topology at the top, E and S, E and S, and so on. So this, rather than that weird flowery pointy shaped thing, I don't know. Or you can, if you don't want that, if you're happy with this, you can just kind of maybe fill this in. That could be one face, or you could split this, so you could get the knife tool. You could say, okay, I just want this to be like that, or something like that. It's entirely up to you how you want that face to look. But yeah, it just clean up that topology, and maybe there's a few you can remove some of these edge loops, because we've got quite a lot here. You can bring that down, but I'm not going too much into that. If you want, you can do the same one here. I won't do it, but just to show you how you can clean that up. If you want, entirely up to you. Anyway, so we've got 2 of the pieces. Let's look at what we're going to do next. So let's create. So let's create a speaker, and then we'll create this thing and say that this little screen. The little screen is just a plane or a cube, nothing fancy. So we can actually just copy, paste this, move this around. Let's take a look at from the top view and position this. Position. There we go. So let's put our speaker on this side. So let's say, okay, the speaker is going to be 4, the width of 4. Okay, so we can plan what we want. And copy this, paste. Yes. Of course, you can make a big keyboard out of this, entirely up to you, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just gonna move this up. As you can see, it's really easy. Really easy. We got, we've got a mixture of buttons here now. So our keyboard will go here. Let's put another LED screen here, and let's actually just copy this. Actually, no, let's put. So here we'll have the dial. Okay, so then that should be enough for that. All right, but you get the idea. It's not really hard. Anyway, it's enough for me waffling. Let's start building. Add a mesh. Add a cube. Boom. So this will be our speakers. We're gonna go up from the top. I'm gonna just move it to the top left here. And what we say? We said, well, we know one button is for 4, so we want to go across 2. So let's just go into X-ray mode. I'm going to just turn on edit mode here. Select these vertices. Oops, I've still got the knife tool selected. There we go. Select these. Oh, we change this back to box selection. Then I can. Whoop, there we go. Let's move these over here. So I want to go 1, 2, 3, or 4 across, and then of course we're going to put down by 4. So let's bring this down. There we go. And I'll just zoom in and just make sure these are not touching. There we go. You can spend a lot more time, making this a lot better. I'm going to scale this down. There we go. And what I'm going to do is press object, center pivot to center of mass. I'm going to hit Control A and apply the scale. Alright. Now we want to create like a speaker grill. It shouldn't be too hard. What we can do is just go to edit mode, select this top face, right click, and subdivide. Now we want to subdivide this a lot of times. Depending on how big the speaker holes you want, let's say 12. Let's say, actually say 14. Yeah, 14 looks okay. And from this very center, I'm going to do just control and just grow that selection. Control and plus on the keyboard to grow that selection. Now you can choose to grow this out or in. You can make whatever pattern you want. And then I'm going to deselect. Let's say deselect these corners, for example, like so. Boom, boom, boom. That, and then this, 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 this. There we go. So now we've got that almost that kind of. So this will be the shape of. If you look at that speaker, it's got that kind of. It's not perfect, but it's kind of circular shaped, which is it's off a machine or something. Anyway, what we're going to do is inset the face. Make sure you have individual faces checked. So inset face, individual faces, and we want to scale them in like so. We're going to delete these faces. Boom. Bye bye face. And you can see there's a hole. Don't worry, if you can't see the hole, you know, it's because you're seeing this face underneath. You can just delete that face. There you go, help you see better. And we have a speaker grill. Now, if you want it to be square, you can. If you want these to be circular, add a modifier. And generate. Now, let's see, it might not work. Yeah, there we go. And we have a circular face. Now, increase that segment to get a nice rounded one here. Okay. Actually, what I'll want to do is, let me just turn this off. Now, I want to select this edge loop. I'm going to move this up, like so. Down a little bit. Now if I turn this on, so this is just to turn it back on and off. And then I'm going to extrude this edge loop down again. E. This doesn't look right, does it? No. Let's turn this off. Let's make it a little bit easier for ourselves. Delete these. I don't know why it does that. Unless I have to do the edge crease. I'm going to delete those faces just to make my life easier. Okay, and we're going to turn this back on. There we go. So that's kind of looking good. And then we're just going to apply this modifier, right? And just say apply. Done. Now what we can do is select this edge loop. And just go select this. I'm going to select this. This is probably not the best technique or best way to do it. I just wasn't sure why that was going. It was collapsing in like so much compared to how we had it here. Anyway, I'm just going to extrude this down. Now you can choose maybe you want one here, and then you know extrude this down here. Entirely up to you how you do that, but yeah, there we go. Shade smooth. Shade smooth by angle. There we go. And we have a speaker grill. Now if you want to add some thickness to that, so you see here it's really thin, you can add a modifier, solidify. There we go. And I got a bit of thickness to that. And same to these, if you do wish to add a modifier rather than them being so thin, you can do. Entirely up to you. Anyway, I'm happy with that. That'll do. Sorry. All I'm going to actually do is duplicate this, copy this, paste. Alright, and this will just be the base for what the dial will sit on, or the little knob thing. So I'm going to rotate this across, move this sideways, and bring this down. I'm going to have the dial sitting on top of here. And this is pretty straightforward as well. Should be straightforward and easy. Now there's different ways of doing dials and different styles and how you want to do it, or create them. I'm just going to go mesh. Let's use a cylinder, and let's move this over here so you can sit on top. There we go. Look at it from the side view. Move this in and down, and scale this in and then down. Let's look at it from above, and then move this in and over here. You know, just kind of position it where you feel it should go. I want a tiny gap, just a tiny gap from it, so it's not sitting on it. So maybe the centerpiece is here and it's slightly floating. Anyway, we're going to select this top face, so we're going to go to edit mode. Select this top face, so here. And just scale this in a tiny bit. There we go. I want to add like a kind of grip. Now you can choose to add a grip. There's different types of grips. So if we look here, this one's got kind of these weird grooves. Not weird grooves, but they have those grooves in them. So you could choose to do something like that if you want. I want to go for one like, you know those like pin diamond I don't know, like a diamond thing. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, they got like loads of. It's almost like lots of diamonds. What we're gonna do is go to edit mode, loop cuts, and select the loop, and we're gonna increase the number of cuts. Something like this. Kind of want it to look even. And then what we're gonna do is select this, and we're gonna expand our loop selection. Let's select this loop here. I'm gonna leave the top and the bottom free. So we've got some, so this will be the grip, and then, you know, this just the bits. So we've got all of this selected, right? All these faces selected. If you want to deselect, it's Control minus on your keyboard and Control plus to grow the selection. Anyway, what we're going to do is poke faces. So we poke those faces. So you can see this is kind of, if you was to imagine we was to pull out each of these points out, and you get a diamond, like a little pyramid, and it's kind of like sticking out. Anyway, what we want to do now is we want to clean this up. So we're going to go right click. We want to say we want these to tries to quads. Then we get these nice diamonds, you see. Next we're gonna right click again. We're gonna say poke faces again. And then the poke offset, we're gonna just drag these out. And there you go. This is what I was trying to explain. It's that kind of diamonds, or should I say pyramids? They look like pyramids, but I mean adds that grip, that detail, the grip to the model. There we go. So it's you know, just add that detail there. Right click, shade smooth by angle, fixes that top half and that bottom half a lot more nicer. And then here we've got the option now to, you know, you can extrude this, and then you can scale this in if you want. Extrude. There we go. And then just right click shade smooth or shade smooth. We want that. I don't really like the, I've said it many times, the new, does that do anything to it? No. I don't like the new auto smooth. I'm not a fan of it. Let's see if this is, let's just undo. That was at 30. Yeah, I don't like the new auto smooth. I mean, or the smoothing and all of this. I prefer the old one. Hopefully they make it a bit more nicer, easier for us again. It was a lot easier before the auto smooth anyway. Anyway, now we have a little dial. It's a bit too big, so I'm going to scale it down. It does feel a little bit too big, just a tiny bit. There we go. Just want it slightly hovered over. There we go. Anyway, we have a dial, and then you just put a, let's look at it from above. Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to put a little screen box, so it'll just be a cube. And that can be like, if you wanted, you can make a little LED texture. I'm not going to do a lot of texturing. It's just mainly just showing you the modeling, like how to model these little things. Sorry about that. Anyway, so this can be our little screen, LED screen, and let's just look at it from the side. Let's bring this down. It's nice and flush. There we go. And that can be your little LED panel or OLED panel, whatever you want it to be. Let's move this up and move this to this, and this like this, like this, like this. There we go. Let's select all these four corners. Bevel vertices. Oh, let's see edges. Let's select these edges instead. Boop, boop, boop. Bevel edges. And then I want to bevel that top edge as well, so I'm going to select this total loop here, bevel edge, just a tiny, I don't want that many segments, maybe 2. There we go. Come out of X-ray mode, that looks nice. Okay, let me take a look at this from the top. I think this needs to just come out to the edge more, so I'm just going to go into edit mode, X-ray, select these, and then just put this out more. I'm being extra. You don't need to, really. And I feel maybe this needs to go in a bit tighter. Let's bring this in. So let's just select these faces here. Let's just bring these faces in. There we go. It seemed that it was hanging over the edge. There we go. Let's just box them in. So let's just put them in a little case. So we can just use a mesh and a cube. Take a look at it from above. Tab. Just kind of scale this to fit. And then just go up a tiny bit so we have a little border. Now you can choose to actually, if you want, say, one side to have a big border or like that. You can choose to do that too. Entirely up to you how you make this case. I'll leave it like that. That's not bad. I'm gonna add a slice here, right here, and then I'm gonna add a slice here, and one here. Oops, and one here, and one at the bottom. There we go. Then we can just cut out that face there. This face we can just remove. Oop, my face. There we go. Sorry. Delete this face. Oh, I've selected this entire face here, which I didn't mean to. Went straight through because of the X-ray mode. I'm just going to go select that loop and press F to fill that in. There we go. Now we just bring this down. And of course we can select this. Let's select these two faces here. I'm just going to expand that face selection there. And then move this. Oops. We don't want this side face. There we go. We just want to bring that up. Now you can choose how deep you want this. Entirely up to you. Like I said, there's no rules. Yeah, there's no tutorial really. I just really wanted to create something like this because I've seen a lot of people. It's probably not the best way to do this, but there we go. Shade to move, not shade by angle. See, this is what I don't like. Just doesn't. There we go. I have to change that angle every time to match what I want. But there we go. Then you see here we've got this. Let's fix this. So let's select this loop here. I'm going to select this entire loop and just shift it. So it's closer in. Oh, I did not select this one here. This edge loop. Yeah, let's bring this in a tiny bit. Now if I select this edge loop, oh, like so, and then I'll extrude E and then extrude down. Okay. That looks better. There we go. So we have a little keyboard or device. You can of course make this a full keyboard and add textures and all sorts, and make it look fancy. Now if you want to light this and put materials, you feel free. I'm just going to quickly drop some basic materials on here, nothing too fancy. So I'm just going to go here, new material. Let's make sure we don't have, let's get rid of all these duplicates, because when we duplicate, you get all these materials, and of course we don't want all of these. So if I can remember, you go up here. This is it, not here. I want to, yeah, it's here. Here, I want to see shaders. There's a way to see all your shaders in the scene tree. Scene? There we go. The objects, scene collections. How do you see just shaders, materials? I just want to see, there's a way to filter materials only. Nope, that's the scene. Nope. I swear it was, I can't remember. Anyway, I'll just open them here and just delete these materials like so. Gonna get rid of all these materials that are associated with these. Oh no, don't do that. Doesn't undo. There was a way to, if I can remember, but I can't remember. Blender file. Here we go. Blender file. Okay. And then it would be materials. There we go. And I'll just, because I don't want all of these duplicates, you know, we don't want all of this. It just makes everything extra complicated. Delete. Delete. I don't know, when I press delete on the keyboard, it doesn't do anything, so I have to right click and then say delete. Like so. That's fine. There we go. I don't know what this dot stroke is, so I won't touch that. I did not create this. Anyway, we can go back to scenes. Yeah, it's fine. Of course, you can name all of your buttons as well, rather than them being called default cube, so you know what they are. They are called. I do recommend naming your objects, but for this, I'm not going to. Anyway, new material, and then I can name this, you know, base, for example. Oh no, that's the base. Maybe I'll bring this down. This, we don't want this to be the same, so this is base. There we go. For some reason, I swear I had this selected when I added the material, but it went to that. But it happens. Anyway, new material, and this will be orange. Orange. And then we're going to change this to orange. Now you can choose how much roughness you want on there. I kind of like that. I don't mind it. If you do want it to be really glossy, bring the roughness down. If you want it to be really like matte finish, you can go like that. Maybe 0.4, 0.5. I'm happy with that. So I've got the orange, and then let's go for a different. Let's go for a white. So this will just be the white. We can have just say white, black, and orange. Let's go for the three colors. And I'll just bring that down a tiny bit. And let's make this one new. And just call this black. We've got three colors: white, orange, and black. Bring that roughness down, and I'll bring that color down. There we go. I might bring that roughness up a bit so it's looks more matte. There we go. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now all I'm going to do is just select these and just apply these materials to them. So maybe this one is an orange, this one is white, and this one is, you know, orange. This can be white, this can be black, Oh, black. Entirely up to you. You know, you can design this to make it look better. You can put icons on here, texture this, make it look a lot nicer. Let's look at material for this. New material. Oh, sorry. I saw this in the screen, so that's our screen material. We'll just make this really glossy, so I'm going to make this black and then bring that roughness down. There we go. Now we can pick up all the reflections of that screen. You know, it's a screen. It's turned off right now, so it's okay. I'm gonna apply that white material on this. This base material you can choose, of course, to make this more glossy as well, or less. Entirely up to you. I think that's okay. And this is white, and then here, if you want to add a new material, I don't know, what do you want to add on here? Let's start with making this white, and then maybe we want to add a completely separate color on this loop. So we select this loop. Oh, if it allows me to select that loop selection, there we go. Alt, and select the next face next to it. For some reason it selects the entire. There we go. After really close to that edge loop there, and then it will select that loop. I'm just going to press assign a new material. There we go. And then I can assign this, I don't know, whatever color. Let's go for a nice green. If you want it to glow like an emission, you can maybe add a glow to that. So that will emit a light. Oh, make sure we assign that material to that selection. There we go. And then that would kind of glow with that emission. Entirely up to you how you want to do that. Feel free to do this. Now you can see here the back of this grill kind of looks a bit odd. You know, there's no components in there and there's nothing in there. So let's just put a little plane. Just drop a plane underneath in the back. You can just place this plate inside. So it doesn't, it doesn't feel empty or too hollow. You can put some depth in there, and then just put the black material on that. Oh, there we go. If you wanted, you can put like maybe some circuit board or some kind of little speaker in there, but that there just helps it, not look so hollow. Sorry. Okay, so I'm happy with that. You can like group all of this together if you want, so you can like join this or group them. Can I right click and say parent? Actually, let's just get an empty, and let's just use a plain axis. Right, let's move this to the center here and just make it nice and big. We'll parent everything to that. Boop, boop, boom. I'm hoping the last object is the right one. Nope. So it's the other way around. Parent object. No, because the plane's the bottom. I don't want it like that. This. There we go. Right click, parent object. Now that should be parented. There we go. There we go. I finally got there. Anyway, let's just kind of quickly light this up, make it look nice. And the reason I parent it is so that I can move this all together and position it to how I want. I'll just do it, make it look a little bit fancy. Change the angle, so it's not flat on. just something more interesting to look at. Let's add a little basic studio floor. You know how it goes. Nice big floor. If you want that backdrop, you know how we do it. We select that back edge, extrude up, whoop. Select this edge here, bevel edge, increase the segments. There we go. Shade smooth. Increase the size if you want, so you don't, the camera doesn't pick up some empty space out there. Move this edge loop there, move this edge loop up, just make it slightly bigger than it needs to be. There we go. So then wherever we look at it with the camera, we're not getting something like that, you know. So you can expand that bigger. But yeah, there we go. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to say vertical split. Okay, I'm going to add a camera. Now the camera, I'm going to add a constraint to that camera to say look, track to. So it's looking, so I want it to track this object, and say I'm going to select the body of the entire, actually let's say the empty. Let's say we want it to track the empty because that's in the bang in the center of the model. So now if I hit 0 and home, that fills the camera view. And I'll just collapse this menu here, and I'll just turn off the gizmos. So now we're just looking at what the camera sees. And then I can go into this window, move the camera around, and you can see it's always going to be pointing. So I don't need to, you know, struggle to get this looking at my product. It's going to be looking at that. And then, you know, you can animate this really easily if you want to make one of those fancy little fancy renders. And you see here, so like, that's what I said, you can just kind of select this and scale this out more. There we go. There we go. Make it slightly bigger. There you go. That way you don't end up, you know, having, I'll go out here now. I mean, I can still do it, but yeah. Here we go. And we could also change the camera settings, you know. If you want this to be 35. There we go. You can make a nice animation, you know, of your product and light this how you like. So this, I'm going to just use the quick go over add-on lights just to make it look more interesting. And we'll switch to cycles and we'll use the GPU rendering, but there you go. Now let's put this back, maybe 55, let's try 55. We'll see how it looks. Okay, so if we click here, and then we're still in EV, so I want to change this to cycles, change the device to GPU. And let me get my asset browser up, so I'm going to split this as well. Now if you don't have that, you can of course use your own light. You can drop lights in and texture this how you want, use HDRI lighting. You can even use the default environment lighting from, you know, the ones that come with Blender. You can see, look at, I mean, you already can see how cool it looks already without even doing anything. Just applying that HDRI. Maybe I'll leave this on and then just bring the strength down. So I just want, I want the, it just adds some color to it and a tiny bit of lighting, but maybe let's go for something like this. There we go. We'll add our own lights in here anyway. So I'm going to go asset browser. I'm going to go here. Of course I can add all these HDRIs. I don't know why my asset browser is all messed up when I added the add-ons. But everything's like in one giant folder for some reason. Anyway, let's get some gobo lights. We'll find some. It doesn't matter actually, we can drop any in. So I'll just drop this palm tree one in, right? Okay. And we're going to do, say, track to, and we'll do the same. We'll say track to the empty object. So the spotlight is always looking at the object. as you can see. So if I go here, we can collapse this, don't worry. So I'll just say drawing area so you can see what I'm doing here a bit easier. Like so. So now the spotlight, because it's tracking, it's always pointing at that, and you can see it is there. The light is just really weak. So if I was to add a couple of zeros, there you go. Now you can start to see that come through. Now maybe you don't want palm trees, so if I go here and then go to color and go to color and just open this folder, now I can go back. It's just easier to change it here than scroll through my asset browser trying to figure out what's what. So let's say we want forest or something. Let's go for this one. See how that looks. And we don't want to show that it's you know, a plant or a tree, but we want that kind of nice shadow detail. So we're going to blur this radius. There we go. So it's just out of focus, and then of course, you know, you can play around with the strength. Bring that strength down here, because I don't. Maybe we want some kind of warmth, and then tiny bit. There we go. But you get the idea. And then of course you can animate this camera. You can what you call shots, and you know, if you don't want that, you know, that that HDR to affect that, you can just remove it, and then you can add your own lights in here. So you know, maybe you want to have, say, this light and then add another light. Let's add a area light, so we can have our secondary light here, and then we can increase that. I don't know, 500. Boom. We can have this pointing. The reason I use the track 2, it makes it easier to point at the subject where I want the light to be aimed at, or but maybe you don't want it all the time like that. But yeah, you're gonna add another color coming in from the side. Let's add some zeros in here. There we go. Entirely up to you how you know, want to light this, or you know, the look you're going for, the feel. There you go. But you could have one color coming from this side, you know. I'll just duplicate this and have another light coming from the other side. There we go. And you know, it could be opposite color. You know, you can go for 2 different colors. Entirely up. Like I said, there's no rules to what you're trying to achieve. You know. Yeah, entirely up to you how you want to light this. Like I said, there's no rules on this. I'll delete those because I kind of liked. I kind of like this with the environment helping it a tiny bit. And you can see we've got this nice, you know, emission coming from here. But there you go. We made one of those fancy keyboard devices that you always see on Instagram, you know, and then if you spend time, you know, you can make an interface or a little graphic that sits on that, you know, maybe that glows on that LED screen. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully that was useful. It might not be useful. There you go. Buy this now, isn't it? Yeah. There you go. You can make a product or whatever you want. I don't know what it is, what we'd call this device. But yeah, like a new Stream Deck for you want, and you could put like maybe some engraving here or sticker of what that device is. You could add little USB ports here, power bank, power switch. We didn't even you know, the bottom you can add little feet. You can add so much detail rather than just being a flat surface. But yeah, you know, you get the idea. You can add to this. I mean, if you want to add a little bit more, you know, for example, let's go here quickly. This body, because it's really basic, you know. If you want, you can just let's just add a seam in here. Let's just add a loop cut in here. Right click, bevel edge. Okay, we don't need that many, so we just want one, like so. And then you're gonna see it here. It'll be hard to see, but I'm gonna say extrude in long faces. The normals are long faces, and then bring this in. And then I'll just right click shade smooth or shade smooth by angle. There we go. And then we just added that extra detail. You can see now it's not just it's not just one solid piece, you know. Go up here, you can see now. You know, you can spend time and add to this, you know, really simple. I'll go here, let's zoom in, let's pull this out. Like so. Yeah, so you can see now I've just added that piece just to add some detail there without having to do much. And of course you can select this edge loop if it allows me to. What I do find annoying about the Blender 4 as well is, you know, these blue the sharp view. I like to turn these off, so turn that off, so that makes it easier to see. And then I'll just right click, say bevel edge loop, and I'll just bevel this, increase that by two or three. There we go. Look at that. It looks just adds that little bit of detail in there without having to do anything. And look at that, looks so nice. I really like that as well. Came out really nice. But yeah, and then of course, like I said, you can keyframe this and do, you know, camera shots. You can animate this how you want. There you go. Enjoy your rest of the day, morning, evening, or night. Thank you again. Bye bye. Hey, if you want, if you don't like the denoise, I mean, if you don't like the noise as well, yeah, you can say in the viewport you can change that to say denoise. I kind of prefer the noise because it softens it too much, and the preview in the viewport it does soften it a lot too much. I mean, maybe you could bring that down to 128. Let's say 32. But yeah, anyway, enjoy your day. Thank you again. Bye bye. I'll turn this off because I don't like that. But I like this. It just adds more. Anyway, bye. Bye bye. Up on him close, ain't no pause button on me.